The American philosopher Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "The truth is beautiful, but a distorted truth is more dangerous than a lie." Today, America stands at a crossroads. Either confront its cracks to heal them, or let them deepen until there is nothing left to salvage. In a coffee shop in the heart of Washington, D.C., wall-mounted TVs blare familiar scenes, fiery debates, awkward handshakes, and promises echoing amid the clamor of American politics. It's April 2, 2025, and the atmosphere here feels perpetually taut. Not because of an obvious crisis, but because of the persistent questions Americans are asking themselves. Who's telling the truth? Who's accountable? And why does everything seem to be getting messier? From the White House to Capitol Hill, two recent stories have fueled this debate. A young press secretary cornered by unrelenting journalists, and a forthright congresswoman exposing injustices in government spending. Caroline Leavitt, at 27 years old, stepped into the White House briefing room on a Monday afternoon in Washington, D.C. With a carefully rehearsed smile, a stack of notes clutched tightly in her hand, and a clear mission: to defend the Trump administration's image before a relentless press corps. But just minutes after she took her place behind the podium, the room's atmosphere shifted from anticipation to a tense standoff. Veteran journalists like Caitlin Collins of CNN, Jonathan Karl of ABC News, April Ryan of The Griot, and Yamiche Alcindor of PBS NewsHour weren't there for platitudes. They came armed with sharp questions, and the focal point was a bizarre incident. An Associated Press reporter barred from the White House for refusing to call the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. An odd demand from the Trump administration that Leavitt tried to justify by citing historical accuracy and national sovereignty. The incident kicked off when Leavitt opened the briefing with a proactive statement accusing the left-wing media of spreading blatantly false narratives about a constitutional crisis. She insisted the real crisis lay in the judicial system, where liberal judges had abused their power to block Trump's lawful executive orders. But before she could go further, Caitlin Collins interrupted with a direct question. Why was an Associated Press reporter banned from the White House just for not using the term Gulf of America? Is this evidence the administration is curbing press freedom? Leavitt countered with a familiar Trump administration line. Access to the White House is a privilege, not a right, emphasizing that the administration was merely asking for accuracy, as companies like Google and Apple had updated their maps to reflect this new terminology. Her response, however, only sparked more skepticism and mockery from the journalists. Jonathan Karl quickly followed up, referencing the 2018 incident when CNN's Jim Acosta had his press pass revoked for asking tough questions of Trump. Is this just another chapter in the administration's war on dissenting voices? Karl asked, his voice cutting like a knife. Leavitt tried to stay composed, arguing that Acosta was banned for being disruptive. Meanwhile, April Ryan elevated the issue, tying it to Trump's statements labeling the press the enemy of the people and accusing them of treason for fact-checking him. Do you stand by those statements? Is the press holding the government accountable now seen as treasonous? Ryan pressed, her gaze fixed on Leavitt. The young press secretary faltered, offering a weak reply that Trump has the right to express his opinion and sometimes feels the media is unfair. The debate didn't stop there. Yamiche Alcindor questioned the standard. If a journalist refuses to use the language the administration dictates, will they be punished? Is reporting the truth now grounds for exclusion? Leavitt reiterated that Gulf of America was an official term from the Department of the Interior. But Michael Shear of the New York Times shot back with sarcasm. If the White House decides to call the Pacific Ocean Trump Ocean tomorrow, are we all expected to print that to maintain accuracy? Shear's question drew laughter from the room. But beneath the humor lay a genuine fear. Is the administration trying to redefine truth on its own terms? Broader context and opposing views. In 2025, America is at the height of political polarization following the 2024 election, where Trump secured victory with 77 million votes, a significant figure, yet overshadowed by the tens of millions who opposed him. The press, long regarded as the fourth estate overseeing the government, is now divided in the public eye. Trump supporters, often tuning into Fox News or Newsmax, view journalists like Collins and Karl as left-wing media intent on smearing the president. They see Leavitt as a courageous defender against the relentless assault from the press, arguing that the administration has the right to control who accesses the White House, a private facility under the president's management. One ex-user wrote, "The press doesn't have the right to demand everything. If they don't respect Trump, they don't deserve to be there." In contrast, Trump's critics, including many Democratic voters, civil rights activists, and academics, see this incident as clear evidence of the erosion of press freedom. They point out that the U.S. Constitution protects freedom of speech and the press, and punishing a reporter for not adhering to imposed language sets a dangerous precedent. An article in the Washington Post argued, if the administration can ban the Associated Press today, then CNN, the New York Times, or anyone who doesn't toe the line could be next. This is no longer a partisan issue. It's a matter of democracy. The journalists in the briefing room clearly shared this view, and their persistence left Leavitt on the defensive, unable to provide convincing answers. Leavitt, though inexperienced, was clearly trying to fulfill her role in a hostile environment. She was thrust into a tough spot, defending an administration frequently at odds with the press, while facing seasoned journalists unafraid to challenge her every word. Her self-inflicted trap, such as claiming access is a privilege, highlighted her inexperience in handling media crises. However, it's worth considering that the journalists may have capitalized on this inexperience to corner her, sometimes with questions more confrontational than truth-seeking. For instance, Scheer's quip about the Trump Ocean was humorous but hypothetical and provocative, potentially undermining the debate's seriousness. Nevertheless, this incident wasn't just a personal failure for Leavitt. It reflects a broader issue in American politics in 2025, the loss of trust between the government and the press, as well as among different segments of the public. For Trump supporters, it's proof that the free press is unfair. For opponents, it's a sign of an authoritarian administration trying to stifle dissent. Both sides have reasons to believe their arguments, but the result is a more deeply divided America, where truth seems to depend on which side of the political line you stand. If you too feel pained seeing the truth distorted or outraged by the injustices unfolding before our eyes, leave a comment below. What do you think is really fighting for the America you believe in? Don't forget to hit like and share this video to spread the story together. We're on a journey to reach our first 1,000 subscribers, and your support will help this voice resonate further. Let's make it happen together. Leavitt's confrontation with the press wasn't just a fleeting moment on TV. It sparked discussions across social media, with hashtags Gulf of America and Press Freedom trending on X for days. Conservative commentators like Sean Hannity defended Leavitt, calling her a victim of an arrogant press mob, while liberal journalists like Rachel Maddow warned that each step like this brings us closer to a state-controlled press. Meanwhile, Americans, from workers in Ohio to families in California, continue to wonder if they can trust what they hear from the White House or the evening news. For Leavitt, this briefing may have been a personal setback, but for America, it's a reminder that the fight for truth is far from over. While Leavitt struggled at the White House, not far away, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett turned a budget hearing into a stage for unyielding truth. With a sharp voice and tight arguments, she criticized the waste in defense spending, where trillions of dollars vanish without explanation, and questioned why the government targets cuts to the poor's welfare instead of scrutinizing figures like Elon Musk, who earns $8 million a day from government contracts. She didn't hesitate to call Musk a spreader of misinformation, especially after he admitted to lying about U.S. aid to Gaza being spent on condoms. Have you ever wondered, does truth still have a place in a divided America like this? Share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear your story. If you find this content worth spreading, hit like, share, and subscribe to the channel to catch more analyses. We're just a small step away from our first 1,000 subscribers, and every action from you is a big push to keep bringing you deep insights. Thank you for joining us. In 2025, America faces an unstable economy. Inflation has eased since its 2022 peak, but the cost of living still weighs heavily on the middle class and the poor. Meanwhile, billionaires like Musk keep getting richer thanks to tight ties with the government, a reality that leaves many feeling the system is against them. Crockett, with her arguments, tapped into a major frustration. Americans are asking, why does someone like Musk, with vast wealth, benefit from their tax dollars, while seniors scraping by on $65 a day from Social Security are seen as a burden? However, for a balanced view, the other side must be considered. Musk's supporters, like Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, argue he creates thousands of jobs and drives innovation. Undeniable contributions. But Crockett isn't swayed by this defense. To her, the issue isn't Musk's success, but the unfairness of a government that favors the rich while abandoning the vulnerable. Her clash with Greene wasn't just personal. It embodied a larger debate in America's heart. Does the American dream still exist for everyone, or just a chosen few? With Leavitt, it's the question of whether the government is trying to suppress truth to bolster its power. With Crockett, it's the outrage at a system that seems to always prioritize the rich over the poor. Whichever side you're on, supporting Trump or opposing him, trusting Musk or doubting him, these events force us to face a reality. America is at a crossroads, where faith in institutions and social unity are being tested like never before. Figures like Caitlin Collins and Jasmine Crockett aren't just characters in this story. They're symbols of hope and resistance. They remind Americans that truth, no matter how hard, is worth fighting for. Join us to follow more content ahead.